Stock market down. We got all kinds of problems with the stock market. Not just the fact that we've all lost money in this thing, but you had trading platforms down too. Charles Schwab, Fidelity, Robinhood, thousands of users unable to access their trading platforms as the stock market's crashing. These systems are designed to withstand massive amounts of users. I don't believe it's just some coincidence that all these platforms go down at once because they're overwhelmed. We certainly have had busy trading days. So what is going on? I believe there's a strong possibility it could be a cyber attack. They smell weakness, they being our enemies, and they smell weakness with the financial markets that goes all the way back to what? All the way back to Friday, where we had the horrible jobs report, horrible unemployment rate, worst unemployment rate in the last 3 years, and a jobs report. We were supposed to have 170,000 new jobs. We got 117,000. So to me, you have two things at play. You've got enemies trying to screw around with us when we're beaten down and broken. And we're beaten down and broken right now because we have Kamala Harris and Joe Biden at the helm. Kamalanomics, Bidenomics is not working. And so our enemies try to capitalize on that to squash us and the American people even worse. The other part that is at play of why this stock market would crash the way it is, we've talked about the Harris honeymoon and Kamala Harris on the rise, right? Well, why is Kamala Harris on the rise? I don't know. I think it's just a few weak enthusiasm over her as an alternate option. But I think Wall Street sees her rise in the polls, the tightening of the race, and sees a real possibility she could win. And Wall Street says, Wall Street says, we can't take another 4 years of this. Wall Street says all of these institutional investors are saying, no. Any chance of Kamala Harris being the next president, we're out, stock market crashes. So here's what I would offer up to all of you. Take Wall Street's warning to heart that she is not going to be good for this nation. She's already said she's waging war on fracking. She's waging war on fossil fuels. She wants the Green New Deal. She says she wants to tax you every which way to Sunday, including unrealized gains. That makes no sense. All of this is a massive, massive problem for this country, and Wall Street says, look out. So we're going to talk about all of this on the program today. Also, Alina Habba, I did an interview with her this morning, President Trump's attorney, as the market's crashing. We're going to talk to her about all of this and about President Trump, where he is, and some messaging. And then a surprise threesome on the streets of Dallas, who are all very pro-Trump. I will play that interview for you as well today. Fascinating stuff. We're going to get the show started here, but before I do, folks, I want to tell you about my friends over at Energized Health. Energized Health is a total body fitness weight loss program that includes making sure your mind is right, making sure your spirit is right, and making sure your body is right. All right. This is a total body approach to losing weight and getting in shape. How do I know Energized Health works? Because I started it, and now 9-10 days into it, I am down 9 pounds. That's a lot for me because I only weighed 198 pounds when I started. Actually, 200 pounds when I started. So I'm in good shape. A lot of it's muscle. I have kept my muscle, and I'm losing as I tighten up my midsection thanks to Energized Health. There's a whole component of cellular hydration in here. The science behind this is fabulous. And here's the best part. I am not hungry. Their meal plan is fabulous. And it's not about purchasing meals and all these things. It's just about a plan. They got recipes, all of this stuff. The secret sauce is the science. And I'm going to tell you, the science is working, and it's super, super easy. The coaching component is really great as well. EnergizedHealth.com/Grant. I'm so excited about them because this is about not only taking your own life back, but we do this for so many Americans. We as a nation is going to improve as well as everybody gets healthy. EnergizedHealth.com/Grant. EnergizedHealth.com/Grant. Go there today. Let's get the show started.
Uncensored and unapologetic. This is Stenchfield. Here's your host, Grant Stenchfield.
All right, welcome back. So we've got the market crash. I'm not even going to go through the numbers. It's not worth it. My theory on this market crashing is that Wall Street's very unhappy with the possibility of Kamala Harris. They see her rising in the polls and they say, you know what? We need to send America a message. We don't want this. You shouldn't want this. This is bad for the economy, bad for your finances. Most people vote with their pocketbook. They know inflation is through the roof. So Wall Street's sending us a message. If we don't take the message, then we're just plain dumb. So let's take the message. Here's my other thought. I'm not selling through all of this. I mean, I'm not going to, in the face of just everything collapsing, just panic sell. That does not seem like a good idea to me. Now, don't take investment advice from me. I'm not an investment advisor. This is just what I'm thinking for myself. You make your own decisions when it comes to this. But I'm a buy and hold guy. So I was up a bunch up until a few weeks ago. Now I'm down. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I'm down a few $100,000. This is not good for me. I'm pissed, right? But I know the stock market goes up, it goes down. Things are cyclical. It'll come back once we get President Trump in office, and that's the key. Now, when I say things are cyclical, it's cyclical because you have politicians that come in with bad policies, then things go down. Bad policies that drive inflation sky high. Policies that drive unemployment with minimum wages and taxes and regulation of businesses, all of this. So I know things will come back if we get President Trump back in. I just got to wait it out. That's my philosophy on this, but I'll fight to the dickens to get President Trump in there. Now, think about what Kamala Harris wants and why Wall Street says this is not good. Kamala Harris wants to tax unrealized gains. That means if you have a stock portfolio and it goes up, she wants you to be taxed on that increase in your portfolio before you actually sell it. Now, imagine if I would have gotten taxed on my portfolio before the crash today. I would have paid income taxes on something I made no income on. Now it's less than where I bought it at. That to me makes no sense at all. But to Kamala Harris, it's about going after investors. They want to go after everybody that's doing something good for America. They don't like investors. They don't like people that are employing people. They want to increase the payroll taxes, hammer away at businesses. Everything that's good, hiring people, investing, they want to tax the crap out of. So that's why Wall Street says, this isn't going to be good. And then the other side of this is our enemies who look at this and say, you know what? We see America on the ropes. We see the jobs report that's down. We see the unemployment rate is the highest it's been in 3 years. We're going to pounce. I believe what we experienced today was a cyber attack. And I also believe that most of these big companies don't ever admit that it is a cyber attack. They don't ever admit it. They don't want you to know they're vulnerable, but they are. But you're telling me Robinhood, Charles Schwab, Fidelity, all have users that can't access the platform, thousands of them, in fact. You're telling me that's just a coincidence that the market is crashing and all of these platforms can't handle the traffic? No way. I just don't buy it. So I believe we are at war. I believe our enemies do want to crush us, both physically and financially. But they'll do it first financially because, you know, it's very hard to fight when the economy is in ruins and there's no money for anybody. So I believe that's what is at play here. And our government right now is doing literally nothing about it. And when I tell you nothing about it, I mean absolutely nothing about it. So I'm going to play for you this interview with Alina Habba, and we'll talk about President Trump. And then these three guys I met on the streets of Dallas, they are great, by the way. So I'm going to play you a clip of them, and they're Trumpsters. And you may not expect them to be Trumpsters, but this is why I know we're winning. But before I play that Alina Habba interview, I want to tell you about my friends over at Patriot Mobile. PatriotMobile.com is where I want you to go. Why? Many reasons. They're America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. I support companies that believe in the things we do. They are literally on the front lines fighting for free speech and our Second Amendment rights, putting money to organizations that are fighting for those things. All of this is why I love the folks at Patriot Mobile, and I want to support companies that believe in the things that we do. But here's another reason, the Patriot One plan. I have one phone, two lines, two networks. One network goes down, I'm okay. I have two separate lines on this phone, and I don't have to do anything crazy to switch around with it. It's great. No other cell phone company can do this two network deal on the phone. Patriot One plan. Part of your emergency preparedness plan should be this. PatriotMobile.com/Grant. Use the promo code GRANT for a free month service, okay? PatriotMobile.com/Grant. Or just call them at 972-PATRIOT. 972-PATRIOT. And you tell them that Grant Stinchfield sent you. So I got a chance to interview Alina Habba along with my co-host, Jennifer Horn, okay? And I'm just getting it queued up here for you. So I got a chance to interview Alina Habba with Jen Horn. I want to play it in its entirety, folks. So let's get that started. Stinchfield and Jen, you asked me.
I did.
And you've been bugging me for so long about this. Mm-hmm. Would I get you, my friend, Alina Habba, President Trump's attorney, who's been such a, well, I'll just say she's been such a badass out there.
Yeah, she's like a warrior, like the warrior to the stars, right? And we don't use that term lightly to President Trump. She's helped him through so many things.
Well, I got her. And I want to welcome her to the program, my very good friend, Alina Habba. It is so great to talk to you.
Hey, good morning, everybody. How are you?
Good morning. I was upset because Grant was, always taking you for his TV show. I'm like, come on, share some love on the radio with us. But it's truly, thank you so much for what you're doing. It is not easy to be in the situation where people are constantly throwing rocks, sometimes at President Trump, and bullets. And you are there helping defend him and, of course, spread his message, which is great, Alina. So thanks for doing that.
Oh, thank you. It's my pleasure. Honestly, it's been a great honor.
Well, go ahead, Grant.
Well, Alina, I wanted to ask you, I think because, you're so close to the president over the years, you've become not just such a confidant and a defender of his, but really, I think it's safe to say you're such a close friend of his as well. We're now 3 weeks plus, I guess, past the assassination attempt. What has this been like for you when you watched this man that you've worked so hard for nearly be killed? And then what has anything changed in President Trump since then?
Well, first for me, obviously, it's like if you watched any friend, right, on national television, find out that they have been shot. I was going to go to that rally. I had been to the one that week earlier in the week. And your mind just starts racing, worrying. It's funny. I picked up the phone and actually called him immediately like an idiot because it's just your automatic response, right, is to make sure he's okay. So it was frightening. I mean, I was in tears, and for about 90 minutes, the kids and I were communicating, and we hadn't heard anything, and we were trying to reach somebody and find out what had happened, if he was okay. We knew he had seen him get up, obviously, in that momentous moment where he put his fist up and said, fight. But we couldn't tell if the bullet had gone in his head or what had happened. So the minute that I did hear from the kids and from him, obviously, was a very emotional one. I was hysterically crying. I think that, the relief you feel in that moment, knowing somebody you care about very much and the country needs so much is okay, was incredible. And, God had his hand on him, and he's definitely meant to be here on this earth. He's not done yet. In terms of him, he's doing great. I mean, the guy walked out at the RNC, the next day after he was shot. I flew with him to the RNC. I was expecting our flight to be delayed. I was expecting that he would change the plane. He would, we'd get a notice. Instead, I got a message from the logistics team telling me, Alina, everything is staying as planned. Be at the plane at this time. We're not changing a thing. And next thing you knew, we were on the plane, bandage and all, with his doctors, and rolled out to the RNC. I mean, it is just epic. So, they keep throwing things at him. They can't even pick their candidate. But President Trump is President Trump. Is the most resilient man I know.
I think that moment when he came out on the floor at the RNC was almost as impactful as the fist pumping in the air, just to see him return and to know that you cannot keep him down. And Alina, there's a new poll that's out from CBS. I think it's really interesting because President Trump has to go from recovering literally from this life-changing thing where someone loses their life in Butler, Pennsylvania, and then you have a brand new opponent to run against. But this new CBS poll is very telling. As much as the media wants to drum up Kamala Harris, and as much as the Democrats are coronating her and making her seem like the next thing since sliced bread, which we know in California, watching her, she is not. 45% say that people would be financially better under Trump. 72% say people would be, or border crossings would go down under President Trump. On the issues that matter to people, he is still winning. So even though they're trying to shine up Kamala, on the issues where it really matters, people I don't think are falling for this.
Honeymoon phase, right? So it's like when you date somebody, you go through the first couple weeks, you're excited about it. You know, they had a corpse before her, so they're really excited. You know, they got somebody with a little bit of a pulse, and they're going, okay, we can do this. And then she opens her mouth and giggles, and you remember exactly who she is. And then if you look at her policies, she's incredibly liberal. She's incredibly radical liberal. She makes Gavin Newsom, for all you out there in L.A., look like a conservative. She is, frankly, Bernie Sanders on steroids. And she was the least liked vice presidential candidate. She was the least liked on the popular vote. So you can't ignore that. That is who she is. So I always tell everybody, they're going to get over this, and then they'll remember who the hell she is and that her policies are the same ones under the Biden administration.
You know, I'm watching right now. We're talking with Alina Habba, President Trump's attorney and also now a senior advisor for the Trump campaign as well. We're bracing for a horrible day today on the stock market. It's supposed to be Black Monday. Part of me thinks President Trump can literally right now let the news play out. They are responsible for this. Kamalanomics, Bidenomics, whatever it is, the people are going to see who is responsible. Is there any concern, nerves about Kamala Harris and moving forward? I know you're confident, but where do you stay on this track as you move forward towards the White House, which I know you can win, but she is going to be a formidable foe because she's got the media on her side. But if this economy goes down, boy, that's going to be an anchor around her neck.
Yeah, and it is going down. We're effectively in a recession. If you look at the points and you look at the market, this is a real problem. Wall Street Journal did an article on it. We're in a state of crisis here, and I think that once people stop getting excited and go back to the gas station, go back to the grocery store, and then remember that there's nothing new here about Kamala Harris, okay? There is absolutely nothing new. She is part of the problem, the border czar that never went down there for more than 2 seconds, the one that has now tried to get illegals to get voter IDs because that's how they vote. That's how they're going to win. They're going to cheat. They're going to give you licenses and get them to win because they want to overwhelm us. Well, all we have to do is very simple. Overwhelm them, and just be, like President Trump says, too big to rig. Mm-hmm. Get out there, vote, make sure you get out and vote. And then once he gets in, he can, change everything and make sure that voting in this country is authentic, it's not cheating, and that we're straight. But election integrity is a big issue. Other than that, I'm out there with him. I mean, I'll tell you right now, I was in Harrisburg at his rally, and he had one in Georgia. There's no question that American people are behind Trump. I mean, I'm seeing crowds like I've never seen in the past few years, and it's frankly because they have attacked this man in such an uncanny way that they are afraid of Democrats weaponizing justice systems. They're afraid of them coming after us because if we don't have President Trump, we got her. She's not standing in anybody's way.
No, and she'll sell anybody out. She is very progressive, but knowing her in California, she would prosecute black men for low-level drug offenses just to get her prosecutorial numbers up. She didn't protect women against an accused mayor in San Diego. She didn't protect kids against the Catholic Church. She will do whatever it takes, and she'll stab whoever she wants to in the back just to get ahead. And I think, Alina, what's really going to be important and what we have to make sure that conservatives understand, especially in our state of California, and I know there are concerns around the country, is about that election integrity. Is there any good news? Are you feeling better about the situation now as opposed to what it was in 2020?
I mean, the situation in terms of what?
Just voter security and whether or not our votes are safe, because people are really concerned about that.
No, and they should be concerned about it. To be honest, no, I'm not. I'm not feeling much better. I'm feeling worse. We have open borders. You saw there was news about, immigrants that have come in, illegal immigrants, we can't even say that now, have come in over the border, and they're getting licenses. Now, why are they getting driver's licenses? Because that's all you need to vote. So, no, I don't feel good about it. I feel good about one thing. Trump supporters, independents, minority votes are looking at the situation at home, in their own homes, and going, I'm broke. My 401k is depleted. We're in a recession. We got a bunch of problems here. I can't do this. And those people, if they don't get out and vote and they don't get up and take their friend with them, we will lose. But we will not lose based on the people that support Trump. We will only lose because they're cheating through this immigration plan. They've let people in, and now they're going to let them vote. So we just have to get out. That's the only thing I say to people. And I'll be saying it between now and November 5th.
All right, Alina Habba, last question for you, and I think it's important. I don't think it's a coincidence that we have not heard a lot about President Trump's court cases, all of them, the 58 million of them that they have against him. I feel like momentum is in our favor. Just on this last little moment that you have with us, why don't you let the people out there know what should be the takeaway when it comes to President Trump's court cases now?
Like I've been saying for the last 3 years, and this has obviously been my direct domain until now, look, they rushed these cases as a form of election interference. They appointed people that should never have been appointed, that were never confirmed by Senate. That has now been overturned. They could keep trying to appeal, but the truth of the matter is they're running out of time. And their time was not about justice. Their time was about one thing, and that was keeping President Trump out of the office, trying to jail your opponent because they could not beat him. So, look, when you have fake cases, they crumble, and that's what they did. And no matter how much backing they had from donors and radical left donors for these AGs and DAs, and no matter how much coordination they had from the Biden administration, which we know, if you look at the White House logs, the visitor logs, they're falling apart, one after another. Even my cases in New York, you know, the Attorney General case, the appellate division immediately, within a week or two, changed it and said, no, he's not putting up a bond for $500 million. That's ridiculous. But this is what you have when politics go in the courtroom. So we'll fix that, too, come November. We'll fix it when he gets back in January. But, you know, the court cases are all very well under control. The Supreme Court's been great. The appellate division's been great. And these lower-level judges that are, frankly, corrupt and have politics in mind instead of justice, you know, they're going to make a mockery of the system and themselves.
Well, I still believe that President Trump is in the greatest position he's ever been in running for office. And that doesn't mean we let up or take anything for granted. But he's in a great position in many respects, in large part because of you and people like you working with him. Alina Habba, so grateful you come on the program. Grateful for your friendship. And thank you.
Thank you. Nice to talk to you, Jen.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, Grant.
Thanks, Alina. Nice to.
So that is Alina Habba, and I'm so grateful for her friendship. And all the work that she does for President Trump. I mean, boy, she's one of the hardest working women in America today, and it couldn't be a better place for her to be working than for President Trump to get him elected and get him out of trouble in all these court cases. She's doing a hell of a job with that. I told you I met 3 guys on the streets of Dallas. I was coming out of a meeting, and I saw 3 guys, and they were talking about my car, and they liked my car, and then I said, "Hey, you guys for Trump?" And they said, "Hell yeah." So I said, "Well, come over here and let's do a little interview." I'm going to play that for you in just a moment. But before I do that, don't forget about my friends over at the Wellness Company, twc.health/Grant. I know you have a preparedness plan for your family. I know if you're smart, you have water, food, ammunition. I got lots of ammunition. But do you have prescription medications? This is one of the most overlooked aspects of being prepared for any kind of emergency. Prescription medications are a must. So the Wellness Company, ivermectin is in their kit, not to mention a whole slew of antivirals, parasitics, and antibiotics. Antibiotics, antiparasitics, and antivirals in these kits. It is what you need to keep your family safe, to keep them alive. If, God forbid, we really had a disaster, the drugstores are closed down and you can't get the medications you need to keep your family living. So I would offer up this, get with the Wellness Company, twc.health/Grant. Use that promo code GRANT for 10% off. Do it today. I promise you, you will not regret doing it. All right. So I told you I met these guys on the streets of Dallas. Well, check this out.
Right now.
All right, so I'm on the street and I meet these guys. Trump 2024?
Trump 2024.
You hear me? Put him back in office.
Put him back in office.
And so they talk about black guys voting for Trump now. That's new.
Nah,
Is it
hell
new?
nah. That's
No,
been like
it's
that.
not- it's
Since he
not
first
new.
came in there, that's been like that.
Why?
Because Trump put the money out in that flow for black motherfuckers to get it.
I got to bleep that one.
He's a businessman.
How about you?
Yeah, everybody been family.
So what do you think's going on? Kamala Harris, did that change your mind at all? Being black woman, Indian, who? He said who? Yeah.
Did you say, nah, I wouldn't want a woman in that, like, no, not being like that, but I just wouldn't want a woman in charge like that. Nah, not running the country. Hell nah.
They say it might make a difference with black folks that now she's in. You think?
Nah. A man ain't finna
No,
put a woman.
the same rules is the same rules. Like whatever they approve of and disapprove of in law, it's either for us or against us. And
Does color matter to any of you guys when it comes to president?
Nah.
no, not at all. Not
No.
at all.
Cause Obama wasn't shit. So what the fuck?
There
He
you
ain't
go.
no shit with us, but make gay marriage. What the hell?
I love these guys right here. This is why we're winning. Thank you guys.
Nah, no
Appreciate
problem.
you.
Trump 2024. I love the guy that doesn't want a woman in office, though. He's like, no women. It doesn't matter if she's black. I just don't want a woman, he says. Oh, my gosh. It's hilarious. Anyway, those guys were great, and they were legit, and they were real. And that's the kind of thing that's happening around the country. That very thing. His best comment was, I want a businessman in office. Well, we've seen what the businessman can do, and we've seen what the transactional sleep around, sleep her way to the top woman can do. I'll take the businessman every day of the week. That's going to do it for us, folks. Stinchfield's Army Rolls, GrantStinchfield.com, GrantStinchfield.com, at Stinchfield1776 on all the social media platforms. Again, this is where I want you to go and sign up for the email list if you can, because that's how I'm going to keep in touch with you. God forbid something does happen and we get canceled left and right all over the place. I got the email list. All right. GrantStinchfield.com. You can find all the podcasts there. Subscribe. Like the video wherever you're watching it. Share it, please. That is a huge benefit to spreading this word. And I love quadruple Z. I love those guys too. Joe, INCT53, they are awesome. You better believe they are. And that's why I love Texas, baby. It really is. All right, folks. Coming up very soon, the Real America's Voice show is right around the corner. I got to get ready for that. We're less than an hour away. I'm late on the podcast today, but we're always getting it done. God bless every single one of you. Stinchfield's Army Rolls. We'll see you on Rav tonight in just a little bit. Thanks for watching, everybody.